Hi, on a review today I have Panasonic GX80. This is the younger brother of GX8. As you can see, this camera is a mirrorless. You can remove the lens, exchange them with some other lens, and this camera has relatively big sensor which is responsible for high image and video quality. I got this camera for a review with a kit lens, 12 to 32 millimeters. The best thing about this lens is the fact you can close it down when not in use. This way the camera is small enough to fit in a jacket pocket.
So actually this camera is comparable to Sony Alpha 6300, I think. It has a bunch of features. It's pretty heavy for its dimensions, but it's really loaded with options. Of course, this is with exchangeable lenses, and this is a micro Four Thirds sensor. So you can use this camera as a pretty good travel camera. Also, you'll get very nice 4K video, fine video. And you can use it for YouTube if you want to, and maybe for some street photography because it has a, I think, very good viewfinder. Although I think that keys, as I'm looking at it for the first glance, I'd say that the keys on the camera are pretty crammed up, so I don't know if it's really easy to use it.
Panasonic GX80 is a relatively small camera, and as you can see, it can fit without a problem in a jacket pocket. The camera is also light, but that depends on who you ask. I showed this camera to some friends of mine and they say it is heavy for the size of it. I personally don't think that's a problem. I am using a DSLR camera and this camera is lightweight for my opinion. It weighs around half a kilo with a kit lens attached. This camera is not made from metal, it is completely from plastic, but build quality is very good. This camera has a small grip and also a very good thumb rest, and it's very easy to hold this camera. Image quality delivered by 60 megapixel sensor is on a very high level. This sensor has anti-aliasing filter removed, which results in a lot of details in images when you zoom into them. Also, this camera produces very good results straight from the camera using JPEG file format. Images have slightly higher saturation on default settings, which is very good for all people who want to get very good results straight from the camera. Still, if you want to get highest possible image quality, you will of course shoot in RAW file format. In low light, this camera gives quite good results up to ISO 3200 in my opinion, but after that a lot of noise can be observed. So I wouldn't use this camera on ISO 6400 or 12000 if I really do not need to. Panasonic is not like Canon or Nikon regarding video. GX80 has 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. You can also record in Full HD at 60 frames per second. I can tell you video quality is pretty much phenomenal. It doesn't have WAR effect, there are no artifacts from compression. Overall, video looks absolutely beautifully. It is very detailed and with very realistic color reproduction. You can also record in lower resolution at Full HD at 60 frames per second, but I would use 4K resolution at all times. It is that good. In low light condition, I can say the same thing as for photographs. Video is very good up to ISO 3200, but after that there is too much noise in videos in most occasions, for my taste at least. There is one feature I would like to point out especially for GX80, and that is the ability to shoot time-lapse videos. Everything you need to create time-lapse video with GX80 is built into the camera. That means you do not need to install special software on your PC or smartphone. One detail separates this camera from competition, and that is image stabilization. There is image stabilization on the sensor, you can combine it with stabilization in the lens if you have stabilized lens, and there is also electronic stabilization in the camera. When you combine all of this, you can get extremely steady footage. You can now see example how shaky the video footage is without stabilization and how good it becomes using stabilization inside the camera. In my opinion, this is a phenomenal result. One thing though I found missing on the GX80 is input for external microphone. If it had it, this camera would be excellent camera for video logging and advanced video recording. Without it, you have to use built-in microphone, which is in stereo format, but it is very sensitive for wind, and also it catches a lot of ambient noise. Focusing speed is quite good, but sadly it is not as fast as the one on Sony Alpha 6300 or of course Canon EOS 80D with dual pixel autofocus. But still, this is quite good. It takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds to focus from the Minion to Angry Birds and the other way around. In daylight it focuses well under a second, in low light it needs some time, but this is a similar case on all mirrorless cameras. What I like the most is, thanks to the excellent touch screen, you can adjust autofocus point the way you like. You can adjust it from any corner to corner, or you can change its size. This camera has multiple autofocus modes, one of which is face detection. If there is a face in the frame, the camera will focus on the person, so you will not have to worry if the focus is correct. On the back of the camera you can see 3-inch LCD screen. It is tiltable up and down. This is a relatively good thing for photography, but for video recording I would prefer the LCD that is fully articulated on the left side, so you can turn it on the other side and see yourself while you are filming, for example, videos for YouTube. Nevertheless, this is very good LCD, it has perfect viewing angles, it is very sharp and detailed. It also has touch capability. You can adjust any setting in the menu system. Also, what I like about this camera is the placement of electronic viewfinder on the far left side. That way you can look with the right eye through the viewfinder, and at the same time with the left eye see what's happening around. So for example, if somebody is coming from the left side and he will enter the frame, I can prepare to take a shot. It has very high resolution, 2.7 million dots. The bad thing about it, it is not OLED electronic viewfinder, as is the case with GX8, the more expensive model. Now, the best thing about this camera is the way that electronic viewfinder and LCD work together. When you look through the electronic viewfinder, touch LCD is still active, so you can change focus point by touching LCD. You can see it is changed in the electronic viewfinder. This is really excellent stuff. If it weren't for that function, you would have to press multi-way controller all the time. This is a really great feature, and I wonder why not more cameras on the market have it. Well done, Panasonic. All the controls are very easy to reach. For example, it has 2 in-control dials, which is important if you use the camera in manual mode. One dial adjusts shutter and the other one aperture. Also on the back you can see a lot of buttons, most of which can be customized. Also there are customizable buttons on the LCD screen and a quick menu, so basically this is enough to use the entire camera without going into main menu system very often. That is a very good thing, because main menu system has a lot of options, and if you are new to cameras it will be pretty hard to navigate. I've seen worse, for example Sony Alpha 6300, but also this menu on Panasonic has a lot of options. Altogether, I don't think that matters much, because this camera has a very good touch interface. You can adjust all the settings using touch screen. This will be very easy for all of you who are coming to mirrorless cameras from smartphone background to understand and use this camera. On the top of the camera you can see hot shoe for strong external flash, but this camera also has a built-in flash unit, which is not the case with the more expensive GX8 model. It's very good to have a flash built into the camera for emergency, and one thing that is very good, you can tilt the flash upward, so you can get a rudimentary bounce function. You can bounce the flash off the ceiling and get much better lighting on your subject. I think the difference is pretty obvious. Battery is a lithium-ion unit. It is strong enough for around 300 or 350 shots on a single charge. This battery is recharged inside the camera using this supplied charger and micro USB cable, as is the case on smartphones. One thing is different though, you will not be able to use this camera while you charge the battery. In the same compartment with the battery you can see a memory card. Panasonic supports standard SD memory cards. My advice is to buy the fast ones labeled as U3 for 4K video recording, which requires very fast memory cards. The main difference between this camera and the more expensive GX8 are some of the features that were left out. For example, GX8 has articulated electronic viewfinder, which also uses OLED technology. It has faster burst, bigger buffer. Also, it has microphone input for external microphone, and the entire camera is bigger. If you do not need all those features, I think you are good buying a GX80, as it is a very good camera. Image quality is on a very high level. I am completely satisfied with performance I got from this camera. Although this camera is capable of producing professional looking photos and videos, I think this camera is most interesting to amateur users who want high image quality, interchangeable lenses and high 4K video quality. And this is what you will get from this camera. It is easy to use, it is small and compact, and you will have lots of fun using it. That's all for this review. Thanks for watching and subscribe to our YouTube channel.